Hello, my name is Kevin, and welcome to another edition of Spare Time at Home. This class is called Miofascial Release. Are you ready? Let's get started. So how self-myofascial release works? It helps in your recovery. It moves more nutrients to the muscle for faster recovery. We know that through science and research, the greater amount of nutrients you have in your body, the more efficient your body is, the greater results you can achieve. So when this myofascial release is incorporated with other such modalities as PNF stretching or AIS or active isolated stretching, it helps increase the performance of the muscle itself. So for all you athletes or just weekend warriors, this is a wonderful thing to incorporate into your workouts for your recovery so that you can get back into your workouts and be able to increase your performance on that. So now that you've done all these wonderful workouts with our fantastic trainers and fitness instructors out here, and now we have to deal with the pain, the tightness, the aches, all those fun things. We have these tightness and these pain, these segments that we have generally in our shoulders or our neck. They're known as trigger points, muscle adhesions, or more commonly as a muscle knot. So when you're doing myofascial release, it's not really releasing fascial tissue itself. What it is creating what we call neuromodulation on the nerves and muscle fibers. Basically, they're getting them to activate. It creates this process and actually encourages more movement of blood flow and of muscle itself. Things you can use to help yourself in myofascial release. Inexpensive items like the common tennis ball, a Theracane, something you can order online fairly inexpensively. A tiger tail, also a myofascial roller. And more commonly, something that you can find at all your spare time clubs, a foam roller. Things you can move as far as with your progression in myofascial release, you can use things like a chair, a wall, the floor, and your progression moves that way. So if you're a little more sensitive and have a little more tender as far as with pain, start with a chair. Just simply on a chair with a ball, a simple tennis ball. What we're going to do is just find that point on your back, shoulder blade, wherever that ache may be, and just apply a little pressure. Those of you who can withstand a little more pressure or have a little more higher pain threshold, we simply can use a wall by applying that ball upon the shoulder blade, between the back, any other once again where you have the pain, apply against the wall, okay, and again create pressure. So the first step is just applying pressure, and that will, in the beginning, help release some of that tight muscle tissue. So for those of you who have a greater pain threshold, we can use things like the floor, and this is ideally the way you want to do it. So what you can do is to get yourself upon the floor, take your paw, find an area around the back, again, that tender point, that back shoulder, and what we're doing is, again, apply pressure. If you feel you can withstand a little more pressure, you can bridge and arch, creating a little more, using your body weight to create that pressure. Now, once you got that pressure, if you feel you can withstand more, you can simply create movement, which is the second phase, just gently rolling. And again, remember, go nice and slow and gentle in the beginning there. Okay, let's graduate on toward the infamous foam roller. The foam roller is a very simple tool to use to help you with myofascial release. What we're going to do is we're going to focus on the very fundamental things, such where we hold a lot of our tension and a lot of our stress and a lot of our aches and pains. That's generally in the upper back and upper shoulder. The easy method of this is just simply to, again, pull the roller up close to the back. Hold it and stabilize it. Drop yourself back. Remember to keep it off of your low back, because there's an awful lot of controversies as far as rolling the low back, and that will have to go into a little more advanced segment. But in the meantime, same thing. Where you feel that ache and pain, just apply pressure. And again, if you apply pressure there, you can withstand a little more. Bridge up. Create a little more pressure on there. And of course, the third phase is to roll and move. Now, a little more advanced stage as you get into it is to actually change your angles. If you want to feel something more in depth, hit an area a little more specific to the area, is simply just to add angles. Change your body position. Move through it, and you'll be sure to hit those muscles. Okay. So for the next one we're going to look at, let's look at the hip muscles, okay? The hip muscles are one of the largest, strongest muscles in the body. What it can do is create a lot of aches and pain elsewhere in your body. Again, this is one of the muscles we use, the large muscles that we use in pretty much all our movements. So let's go ahead and let's start with rolling the hip. First thing you're going to do is sit upon the foam roller, okay? Once you get it on there, you're going to bring if you're rolling the left side, you're going to bring the right leg up. Place the left arm behind you, sit on top of the roller, and again, apply pressure. You'll feel a tender point at some point, and when you find it, just apply a little pressure. And again, the second phase would be to gently begin the roll. If you feel comfortable and again have a higher pain threshold, let's go ahead and let's roll it a little bit deeper into that side. And again, you do those segments. Remember to do both sides so that you get a nice even balance. So for our next one, what we're going to use is a tool called the Theracane. The Theracane has all these funny round tips and shapes to them. What they're designed to do is to reach down into the deep muscle fibers and help them move and generate more blood flow to the area. So one of the problematic areas is this area along the top of the shoulder known as the trapezius, or also is what we call the stress muscle. So how we apply a Theracane is simply by putting the knob right in the area where you have the tender and soreness. Pull down gently, again apply pressure as phase one. If you feel that you can withstand a little more, create some movement on it. And in the third phase, really rock it in there and change the angles. And that will again get deep into some of that tissue that you want to release. So again, you want to be relaxed when you do this. Don't death grip the Theracane. And of course, if you pull too hard, you can break it. So be gentle, be easy. And again, we want to recover. We don't want to hurt ourselves. Let's move on to our next tool. Thing we call a tiger tail. Again, this is something you can pick up for very inexpensively at, again, like I said, any of your local sporting goods stores. The fascial tissue works really well. It can work especially on areas like your legs and the quads. So simply apply pressure, roll. Again, change angles, and based on what you can withstand, if you can stand with more pressure, apply more pressure. So we can hit both the quads and sit to the end of the chair. We can flip it, work to the lower part of the calf area, which there's a lot of people, especially if you're a tennis player out there, will have some sore calves in there. So now that you've gone through the rolling and the fascial release here, each one of these segments of your body, you want to be able to do roughly anywhere between 30 seconds up to about 3 minutes. Anything more than that, you have to be pretty tough to do. But if you can manage it, that would be great. Now that you've rolled all the segments, everything from your back to your hip to your quads to your calves, each one of the individual muscle groups that were in your body. And what that's going to do, again, help you increase your performance. So with that said, until next time, you're on your road to recovery.